It's episode 23 of Chit Chat. Another Gen Con is in the books, and we're here to tell you all about it. We had a blast with a bunch of our new friends from around the world, and oh, did we play so many games. Welcome back to Chit Chat. This is episode 23. By the way, 23 is the lowest prime number with consecutive digits, in case you didn't know.
Never knew that.
Last week, or a couple weeks ago, we did our Gen Con preview. This is our Gen Con recap. We're going to talk about all the stuff that we saw there, probably tread over a little bit of what we talked in the preview, talk about what we played there, all sorts of things. We've got Ryan, Gary, myself, and Jeremy, and Derek and Lizzy from Board Game Spotlight. So all six of us are going to talk about our Gen Con experience for 2018.
That's right. And before we do, giveaway time.
Yep.
Woo! So Jessica Side, you won Megaland from Red Raven Games. Make a comment below. Get in touch with us, and we will send you a copy. This week, we're giving away two awesome WizKid games, and these are awesome. We love these games, both of them. Kung Fu Zoo, Fantasy Realms. Make a comment. That's all you have to do in order to be entered to win.
One person or two?
One person's getting both of those.
Whoa.
This is
the
week to comment, for sure.
All right, so who wants to start? We'll start over here, and then we'll go over to Derek and Lizzy. But who wants to start over here?
There's so many games to cover. Like, I didn't even know where to start.
I'm paralyzed.
I mean, there's even going into this, we need to make people aware that there's a lot of games that we haven't even played. We came back with probably, 50 games between all of us, right? Yeah. Something like that. And we've played probably about 3/4 of those.
Maybe. You played a lot.
But there's, actually,
we played a lot. We've burned through like 10 today.
Yeah.
But it still feels like that's such a small dent.
Yeah, I played over 35 games in the week of Gen Con. Not just while I was there, but quite a few games.
That's probably one of the highlights of your experience.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I've said this before in the last Chit Chat that every year I go, I always make it a goal of mine to sit down and actually play the game so that when I get back here, we know what we're playing. We have to read the rules. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of games to play. It's not all, the entire game, but I got to sit down, have a demo, understand, know how the game plays right at the start, so it makes it much easier. All right, so I'll start. I will talk about Newton because that was very high on my list. We got to meet Simone Luciani. He's an Italian designer. He's done a lot of awesome games, Lorenzo and Marco Polo. Newton, of course. He has a game that we sat down to play, Barrage, with him. We got to meet the guy. We got to play games with him. We got to talk to him about the future forward stuff with Cranio Creations, and it was just fascinating. The guy's so smart, and not only is Newton fantastic, but Barrage looks ridiculously good.
Barrage is cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in that game. I think it's coming out, November on Kickstarter?
Kickstarter,
so that's the plan,
Yeah, and then I think they even have,
Maharaja?
Maharaja, that's going to be re-released by them, plus another game next year. He's got some other smaller games. He had Pink there, which is a roll and write game, which I was able to grab. That guy's he's just insanely smart.
Yeah, he's designed some of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, and whenever we meet one of the designers that everyone knows we all love, but we've never met them, that is pretty cool.
That was really cool.
It feels like, it's a fanboy moment for all of us.
Absolutely,
for sure.
absolutely.
It's really fun. So, I want to talk about a game that I played at Gen Con called Castles of Burgundy. Seriously, I played Castles of Burgundy. Yes, it's a brand new. No, it's an old game. We played Castles of Burgundy. I played it with one of our backers, William, and I think I won, unfortunately. So I didn't mean to do that, but we had a great experience, like we did at Origins. And Jeremy and I also played Gunkimono with two other backers, John and Jim.
Mm-hmm. I won that one.
You won that one. Again, sorry, backers. Please back us again. We really appreciate it. We won't beat you next time. But those were fun experiences. Gunkimono is brand new, obviously. Castles of Burgundy, not so much.
And they all walked away with a copy of the game, too.
Yeah, it was really cool. The guy I played Castles with had never played it.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So it was really cool. He was excited to walk away with a copy of the game, and it was a good experience. I enlisted Alicia and Ella from Ella Loves Board Games to play with us. It did take a while. It took a lot longer than our Gunkimono experience, which is a fast game.
Yeah.
But it's like we said about Origins, it's fun meeting a lot of the people who watch our channel and back us on Kickstarter and all that. So we were able to do that again, which was really cool.
Yeah, like with you, one of my games on my list was Barrage.
Mm-hmm.
And so meeting Simone Luciani was awesome.
Yeah.
And a little bit more about that game now that we know more about it. And even he said himself, it's complex.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
And he said it's its most complex. And I think he also said it's going to be their first Kickstarter.
It is.
Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting when you see this and you see the plans for what they have, because you're going to be building dams to generate and hold water to generate your power plants. The dams that they're prototyping with sound amazing.
Yeah.
So, and the board it might be 3-tiered leveled.
So
as
water
flows down,
Yeah.
that's how the game will work. So.
Not real water. Just
Not
so
real
everyone
water.
knows.
Well, I guess you could.
I did ask.
Oh, did you?
No.
Maybe that'll be the deluxe version, right?
It is cool. It does look very different, right, from all their other games.
Oh, very different.
You wouldn't look at Lorenzo and Grand Austria and all those other
Marco
games
Polo
and think, oh, this is the next one. The graphic design is
It's
way
darker,
different.
it's more industrial. It's very unique,
Yeah.
But I think one of my favorite games I played at Gen Con, and you guys have covered it, was Everdell.
Oh,
Yeah.
And that game was hot.
Told you.
It was.
And you did. You
I've
were
been
kind
talking
of the
about
first
it
one.
for
I remember
weeks,
seeing it
yeah.
on Kickstarter, and like, I don't know if I want to do it. You know, it seemed kind of more on the lighter family side, but that game is amazing.
It's got hidden depth in it.
It
for
has
sure.
hidden depth. It's beautiful to look at. It looks cool on the table. The deluxe or the base work incredibly well.
That designer was there too.
Yeah.
And he was the most excited guy I've ever seen. Like,
Oh, he was signing his
he
copies.
was
It was
so
neat.
happy.
Yeah.
He was so
That's
happy
cool
that people
to
were
see
paying
that
attention
happen
to
for the
him.
first time.
And I believe he announced there's an expansion coming out for that too.
It's
so
been kickstarted, I think, this month or September.
September,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's gonna
Did
be
you
nice.
play a full game of it?
I played a full game and I loved it.
You pick it up?
I'm going to.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
they were all out.
Yeah, they had
They ran
sold
out.
out. They had to go up to their warehouse
And get more.
and bring them back down to Gen Con. And every time I walked by that booth, there was a huge crowd
Yeah,
of people
those
gathered.
games went fast.
Well, they had Everdell and Archmage side by side, and this huge crowd, and both of them sold out. It's a
Nice.
big year for them.
Have you guys played Everdell by
Not
chance?
yet.
No,
Have you
actually,
seen it?
I've seen it. It's on the way. I just
Yeah.
got a shipping notification, so
We're
it'll be here
waiting
next
for
week.
it.
Yeah.
I can't wait. That 3-tiered tree and then the different little creature races. Really excited.
Yeah, it's
I can't wait to
amazing
try
looking.
it.
And the components.
Yeah, the component
talk
quality
about-
is absolutely
Yeah,
fantastic.
they're amazing.
So, Ryan, what's yours?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'll echo that. I mean, meeting Simone was just unbelievable. Also finding out that he believes Voyager Marco Polo to be his best design, which is also my favorite of his designs. Little validation there.
I suppose. I think he
coolest-
was just being,
wrong.
I think he was
You're
just
right.
being nice to you. You'd left and he told us that was not the
Sorry,
case.
sorry.
Yeah. He just want to make
Now,
you feel better.
for me, the coolest thing for me, we got to be very careful. We can only talk about the fact that it exists, and we're not allowed to talk about any more than that.
Can
feel
I
like
just,
Ryan's gonna be
can I just
fired
say
here.
right now, I'm very nervous at this moment.
which was X-Men Legacy, which
Oh, that's kind of been
we're not allowed to really talk about anything that happened within the game or like
Yeah.
how it plays. We're not allowed, but we're allowed to talk about the fact that it exists. We got to play it. A few groups got taken in to play it so we could start spreading the word, and it's cool. I liked the potential there a lot. I love the '90s X-Men show.
Well, it
which
is
what
based
this
on the
is
best
based on.
X-Men era ever.
It's like it's
Oh,
the best.
the Jim Lees?
Yeah,
It's Jim
all the
Lee
Jim Lee
and
artwork,
90s
from the
animation
90s.
type
Yeah.
looking X-Men. Or at least
Yeah.
that's what we saw. It looked a little bit
It was
like
very early. They said it's
Yeah,
probably
oh,
at
it's
least
very
a year
early, which
away.
is why they don't really want us talking about or showing
And
pictures
it's
of it or
designed
anything.
by
but
Richard Lanius, too,
Yeah.
so there's some pedigree in
Oh,
the design
really?
there as well.
Yeah.
So
it was fun to play. I mean,
It's always cool. I mean, we're very fortunate to get the opportunity to see some behind closed doors ish sort of stuff. Like you saw Azul last year before anyone. I mean, just
Yeah.
a few select people were shown that, and this year was
Yeah.
cool to see.
we
that
also
as well.
saw, well, we've heard about 3 games coming from a publisher that is a very small publisher that we'll soon be able to talk to people about.
This
that
is
are probably
such a tease.
This is a huge
probably,
tease right here.
If they pan out, they're probably the highlight of Gen Con for me. But enough about that. We'll talk more about you guys. What do you guys play?
I want to talk about Gen 7 from Plaid Hat
Oh,
Games.
yeah.
Jeremy's over there. So it's not a sequel to Dead of Winter, but it's kind of in the same vein. So it's 7th generation out in space, and it's a cooperative game. But unlike most cooperative games, you all can do your own thing. You have your own storylines. There are missions that you can do together to keep the ship running. If you don't, it's going to be bad for everyone. But you also have side things that you can do on your own, and it's a dice placement, which I really like. So it kind of had like a little bit of a Euro feel, but I really enjoyed it. We only got to play a couple rounds. I really am looking forward to that one when it comes out.
Absolutely. It was a blast, and most everybody that knows me knows that I'm not a co-op fan, and actually you
I
aren't
am
really
even
either.
more so than him, but I
So-
really liked it.
I absolutely loved it. It was very fun. Towards the end, I was kind of went into it like, but then at the end, I really enjoyed it. So that's going to be fun. For me, my number one of Gen Con was War Chest from AEG, and I got validation. Lizzy and I played 3 times yesterday, back to back, and I absolutely love that game. It's an abstract, it's thinky, it's got support and main units. You can draft them, which I think is the best way to play the game.
If you're not drafting it, you're not playing it right.
And the draft really changes the way that you can kind of create your own different synergies within the game and create your own combinations and then play them out. I think it's a great way to do it. So War Chest was a lot of fun.
We
Very
both
cool.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
If you guys are already talking about your favorite games, I'm going to go right over to my probably surprise hit and favorite game.
I think I know what this is.
Newton is fantastic, but we just played Villainous today.
Yes, that
And,
was so good.
That game is so good. Like, it's so smart in the way that it handles each of the different factions or villains that you're playing because they're all completely asymmetrical in the win conditions that you have with them. The quality of the components is fantastic. The cards have this, like, almost metallic sheen to them at times. It's very sturdy cards. The cardboard pieces that you're using are great. The art is just
Yeah, the art.
through the roof good.
Yeah.
And the idea and the prospect of future villains that could be played into it from all these different Disney licenses is fascinating. By far one of my favorite games, and it's so simple to play, but it's also very interactive with the way that you have these realms in front of you. You're using a very specific movie, you have a very specific villain, but you also have the heroes that interact in your realm, and other people are taking those heroes and thwarting your plans on your own particular
pretty
board.
cool.
It's ingenious. Like, it's really smart.
I haven't played it, but it reminds me of the same potential. Remember playing Kingdom Hearts, the video game, for the first time, and
A
thinking
little bit, yeah.
all the different worlds that they could explore.
Well, yeah, we were
and
even
all
talking
these
about
Disney
that.
things mashed up.
All the villains that we wanted to see show up in
Yeah.
like future expansions. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was cool.
It was super fun.
I really
super fun.
I was really impressed with the way that like each faction played differently. So like you had your own specific objective and your deck catered to that, but you also could kind of hamper your opponents based on the fates that you could draw. So there was take that in the game, but I felt like it was manageable and everybody had the same opportunity for that. So it didn't really feel, swingy or
Yeah,
anything.
I was surprised at how much player interaction there is since it is so asymmetrical. You think you'd just be focused on yourself, but you have to pay attention to what everyone else is doing to make sure they're not going to run away with the game since you all have different objectives.
Yeah.
And Wonder Forge, right? It's a division of Ravensburger.
It's like a publishing
It
house.
is like
more
a
than
Do you
maybe
think
a
it's
development
like
house.
is it a mainstream or mass markety sort of division of theirs?
Yeah, I
Well,
think this
think
is
so since it's in Target.
It is
Yeah.
a Target.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would imagine it's
Good for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, what a great IP to get for your first game, too.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
obviously,
No kidding.
Ravensburger helped with that a little
Well,
bit,
it's
I'm
cool
sure.
too because they get an IP, but it's not a specific. It's not like a game based on a specific movie. It just takes the concept of the Disney villains. So it's more about the game than
Right.
it is the IP. Right?
Yeah.
So that's probably my favorite game. I've got a whole bunch of other games, but I'll
Good, because I'm
Whatever
going to
you
jump in
talk
and maybe
about.
take one of
I know
yours.
I know what this one is.
This is easily my, I think, favorite game of the show, and it's Nagaraja.
yeah.
Nagaraja is a game we barely heard about before.
I don't think
the
I heard it at all.
It had just hit the BGG list just before, but all I saw was the box.
Right.
I knew it was Bruno Catala. I knew the box looked cool, and I think it was Vincent Dutray does the
Yeah.
art. And then, I think it was the first day, Derek, you started talking Nagaraja. I heard you say something about it. So
Yeah, so with Nagaraja, we actually played, Lizzy and I played with Tantrum House with Kevin and Melissa, and they had met Theo. Theo had the game there at Gen Con, and so we had the opportunity to sit down and play, I think it was like 3 or 4 rounds, kind of get a feel of the game. Absolutely fantastic game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's super cool. It's a 2-player game. I mean, it's hard to describe. We have a review of it that's going to be up pretty soon, so you can take. We were lucky enough to walk away with a copy of the game. So Jeremy and I played it a few times, ironed out some of the rules because there wasn't a rule book at Gen Con. So they sent us the rule book recently, and we confirmed a few things and corrected ourselves on a few things.
Yeah.
Excellent 2-player game where you're building routes on your board and really messing with each other. Dual purpose cards. It's awesome.
Another game that I picked up, and I need to play it a couple more times because you need bigger groups as most of these games. Social deduction game, Hail Hydra.
Oh.
So we played it with 5, and we were learning it. So it's kind of a little bit difficult with 5 when you're trying to learn those type of games. But it was very interesting. It's got amazing artwork on these cards.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
It's the Avengers universe, and but it's a social deduction game. Everybody's a hero. They got a bunch of heroes. And you're going to, each round, there's 3 rounds, you're going to fight a villain. Now, the social deduction part of it is, depending on the player count, a couple of the heroes are also going to be on the side of Red Skull. So they're trying to work against you. But in each round, everybody's working together. You have cards that are offensive cards or defensive cards. So basically, you're throwing a card down. Either it's going to hit the guy or it's going to, attack the heroes. So you're attacking the villain or you're attacking the hero. And so you're trying to figure out who's putting what cards down. You're trying to defeat the villain each round. And if you defeat him, then you can go to the next villain.
Yeah.
And it was
Trying to
interesting.
defeat, 3 villains before
There's 3
you do
villains,
the
and
boss?
then you play Red Skull,
The Red
and he's
Skull,
tough. And the other way the villains can win is you have this tracker. If it gets all the way down to 0, whatever number it starts on, depending on the player count, down to 0, and they like destroy New York City.
Huh.
Yeah.
So, but I would definitely want to play with more people because it had some aspects. If you like Secret Hitler, it has some aspects of that. But a whole another twist of you're attacking somebody in the middle and trying to figure out are they helping you attack or are they preventing or helping the villain attack you?
Because everyone's contributing cards.
Everybody's
How many people
contributing
does that
cards.
play total?
I think it plays up to definitely 8, maybe 9.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That same company had 5-minute Marvel, right?
that's right. Yeah.
And that sold out, or else
Yeah.
I would have
Yeah.
gotten a copy. I wasn't I liked 5-minute Dungeon, but 5-minute Marvel with that artwork and the property is exactly what I needed to want to pick it up, and I missed out.
Yeah.
Well, I had a lot of obviously had a lot of great Gen Con moments, a lot of cool games got to play. But if you remember back to the beginning of this year, we did a top of 2018 list.
Uh-huh.
And my number 1 that I was most excited about this entire year was Victorian Masterminds. And so getting to play that and bring it, actually we got to bring a copy home and try it out here, loved it. I'm still very excited for this game to release. It's coming out sometime in November. And it's really cool the way you stack your actions and then flip them and do them in reverse order. It's super interesting, especially you have your agent that can sabotage other people's actions. So when you place a tile down, I don't know if I want to go on top of your tile or not. Sometimes I just sacrifice a guy knowing you've probably sabotaged him. But there's a lot of decisions to make.
Yeah, the beauty behind that game, I think, is the asymmetrical powers on the individual machines. And then that flip system, that action selection system, but also the speed of the game. Yeah, 45 minutes.
Speed,
in
well,
it-
45 minutes, and your turns are
Yeah.
going so quickly until you have to flip a stack. But when you're putting down the chips, it's pretty quick.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And even resolving them's quick. And it's by Lang and Bowser, too. I mean, these guys have been working on this game for, I think, 3 or 4
it's
years.
They have
Wow.
a
Production
production
value.
value. Anything that
No,
know?
just
This is their
this.
first one.
It's
This is their first
fascinating.
one.
The game looks beautiful. The
Yeah.
artwork of the characters is amazing.
Everything
Yeah.
about the game, all the components
There's
are really
so
high
many
quality.
points to be scored in so many different ways.
Yeah.
It is I was looking forward to that too on our 2018 list. It was really cool. We got a chance to play it with Eric, which is always cool. And got a copy.
And didn't you say that's going straight to retail?
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not.
So
a
that's not a
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter. You're going to
Yeah.
see that fairly
Components are
soon.
awesome, and plus
Yeah.
we have, again, shameless plug. We have a review of that right now, so go check it out if you want to take a look.
You guys played Expanse TI.
we
What did you
did.
guys think about that one?
We did. We played Expanse TI a couple times now. We actually just live streamed it on the Board Game Spotlight last evening, and I absolutely love the game.
It's so fun to watch the buildings grow. It has great table presence. It plays 2 to 4, so it's really good 2-player, which is what we play a lot of. But it's super fun, really enjoyable, super easy to learn. They have great components in it, which is always great.
Who
The game-
won?
I actually won for
Uh-oh.
once. That's right.
Sorry for
Record it.
asking.
I finally
No,
won
you're
a
not.
game. And so it's it's really cool too because no matter how many people are playing, you're still going to play all 61 tiles.
Yeah.
So you're playing the whole game. So no matter how many players are playing, it's generally still going to take about 45 minutes to an hour. Just players will play less tiles on their turn. And it's just, as like Lizzy said, amazing table presence. It's really fast. It's fun. There's a lot of ways to score points. There's a lot of ways to kind of block your opponent off if you can to try to score points and then give them negative points. So it's pretty
But since
fun.
you're placing a tile every time, it's not like they're going to completely block you off and you're not going to be able to do everything. You're always going to have options.
Yeah, and that sold out really, really quickly at Gen Con, so that was definitely a hot game. It was on my top 5 list of this year, so pretty awesome.
Cool. I'd hate to get through this list and not mention 3 other games, and I'll mention them very briefly. Number 1 is Spell Smashers from Renegade Games. I think that game scales best as a 2 and 3 player game. However, I think it's incredibly inventive in the way that it handles the word genre. Having a dungeon fantasy theme around it and having all these different weapons and powers that can build up is really, really cool. Number 2 is The Reckoners, which is one of the most beautiful games that came out at the convention. It's this giant box. It's got all these awesome game trays hope to get a review of it, but it's a cooperative game that's based off a
book
book
series,
series that you've
Who's the
read,
author?
right?
I
It's
have
really
Brandon
good.
Sanderson.
Yeah.
It's a really good series.
And they had 3 levels of it there. You could get just a base level with the game. You could get one with like a metal steel heart, and then you get one with pre-painted miniatures in it. So it catered obviously to the fans of the genre. And the last one I'll mention is a game that Ryan and I and some other people are playing right now. It's Detective.
Yeah, I was going
which
to
I
mention
think
that too.
is probably going to be one of my top 10 games this year. It's not my style of game. These are not the kind of games that I like to play, but it's really smart in the way it handles being a detective, because you never really know the right answer. And that's ingenious because most of those games, there's a right answer. By the end of it, you know exactly what happened. In this, you're always left to think, I don't really know. Like, we came out of that, we did everything we thought we could, but we still just don't know. And that's part of the game. And it's also could turn people off. But for me, it's kind of turned me on to wanting to play more of it.
It's super interesting because you get to the end and you have to file out a police report. And it's guided. They're asking you questions, and we're like, oh, yeah, we know all these answers.
They're really hard.
But then they get to a question, and they're like, so who killed this guy? And then we look at each other, we're like,
I have
what?
no idea.
Did that guy die?
like
Not,
I don't
not
know.
so much like that, but you,
Like,
I mean,
but
you
they're
really
like
have to
questions
dig
like,
into some of the
and then we're like,
evidence.
man, I don't even know the answer to this. We didn't uncover any of that information. So it's like, it feels very real, I want to say, and
Yeah,
not like
feels very
you never
real.
kind of get that closure, which might frustrate people, but I think it keeps me coming back. And that's sold out, I think, like the first day of Gen
It
Con.
may have.
All right, I've got 2 things to mention at the end here. One is a game, and one is not a game.
Oh.
The first one, the game, is called
The Game.
Just One. Actually, no, yeah. Just One.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember. I think this was at Repos Productions.
There's Asmodee of some sort.
And it was a simple party game. It was one of those games you're like, how did this not exist already? It was so simple, but it kind of flipped the script on this concept of the main player will pick a card, or whoever's it for the round. They don't look at it, though. They put it face out, and there's 5 words on it, and they go, 4. Everyone else at the table sees the word, and they have these little whiteboards, and everyone else has to write one word clue to try to get that person to guess the word that's number 4. Here's the rub. They all reveal their words to each other before that person looks, and any duplicate words get taken out completely.
Oh, interesting.
So you can't go, oh, well, this is the best clue, because if 3 other people did that, then you've only got a couple clues for the person to get. It's a cooperative game. So you're just trying to get through 13 words. It's like, an
Interesting.
awesome little word filler game where if you get it, the next person goes, and you just keep going around the table until you get it.
It's interesting.
It's,
for sure.
I watched it played. My son played it when he was there on Thursday, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. But then when you play it, and the first time you're writing down your clue and you finish the word, then you think for a second, go, oh, wait a minute. Someone else has to have this. So it makes you start thinking differently. And then also, like, if it's Jeremy's turn to be it, I might think of, like, inside jokes that he and I have where it might help him get it, but no one else would use that clue, that sort of thing. So that's one of the games I thought was really cool. I have no idea when it's coming out, but I'm guessing sometime later this year. The other thing I wanted to mention, we had the opportunity to have a bunch of people visit here on Monday and Tuesday. None of this has aired yet. We're still in the midst of editing it, and we'll get some of these episodes up soon, but we're launching a new show called Player vs. Player. And it is a board game trivia showdown extravaganza. The first one we filmed was with these 2 yahoos over here. So it's Ryan versus Gary. But then we had Blue Peg, Pink Peg on the show fighting up against Ella and Isaac Childress, who were standing in for Rolling Dice and Taking Names. We had John Zinzer of AEG face off against Zev from WizKids. So we're going to get these things up in the near future. We had a ton of fun.
It's a blast.
Filming them. So we're hoping, check those out as soon as we get them up. But they were a blast to film.
What about you, Gary? Any last words?
Yeah, it was a really good Gen Con. It was interesting. They said the numbers grew this year. It didn't feel like it to me.
Thursday felt pretty packed.
Thursday was packed.
Thursday was pretty packed.
But
Thursday and Saturday.
Sunday felt like a ghost town.
Yeah.
relatively speaking.
Yeah.
it seemed like it definitely had emptied. It's more than usual.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because you bring the families in and stuff. But no, I thought the city did another really great job. It's just so. If you get a chance, come to Gen Con. It's huge. It's a lot, but everything is just so accessible. And actually, even though they said the numbers were bigger this year, they've really expanded that expo hall. That even though it's still packed, I felt like I had an elbow room. Because 2-3 years ago, you're doing this the whole day. So that's really nice. But it was a really good Gen Con.
Yeah, if there's one critique I'd give, they need more play space a little bit. Right?
That's the one
trying
thing.
to find a place to play.
After
Well, you
6
have to
o'clock
go to
when all
Lucas-
the events.
Well, when
come
all
out,
the
you'll
events
play in the
close up,
giant
it's
hall.
huge, but it'd be
There's
nice to
room
be
in
able to
hotels
easily find
and-
a table.
Well, you have to go to Lucas Oil if you want to play pretty much during the day. They got
Yeah.
tons of
That's true.
space there.
I want to say, I guess the last thing that I want to mention, we got a chance to sit down with Tim Eisner and play Tidal Blades, which is a game that we had played earlier this year. We had given a lot of feedback, and it was really cool to see that game come back in a new form with a lot of the stuff that we had asked. Like, this is a really unique game. You play as like heroes on a group of islands, defending it from these sea monsters coming in from sea, and you are like the Tidal Blades. And it was really cool. Everybody has a unique character, and the artwork and world is designed by Mr. Cuddington.
Yeah.
So it's grade A artwork. I mean, the game is probably the most beautiful game maybe I saw.
Yeah, I think
at
that one's
Gen Con.
kickstarting in October, November.
a couple
Yeah,
months.
so it was
not
really
too
cool to get to
far
sit
off.
down with him and just any chance we can to give our feedback directly to the designer and just to see the gears spinning in their head as we start to mention some things. It's
That's
really cool.
the part that's cool. Seeing any designer do this, but to see Tim at work when we're sitting there playing it, someone makes an offhand comment, and they don't think anything's going to go of it. He just say a comment. All of a sudden, he's got his notebook on. He's like, "What was that you said?" It's really cool to be a part of that and to see a designer really crafting his game.
I got to break Emerson Matsuchi's Civilization game.
You did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We'll
You
see
did.
what
Emerson
happens.
felt pretty bad for me because Jeremy just hunted me down and wiped me off the
I
board.
broke- I literally broke the game.
In 4 turns?
Yeah, who knows?
like,
but
what
I have
happens-
complete faith in that
What
guy
happens
to do
with
it.
player elimination? He says, I don't know. It's never happened before.
You were the first to be eliminated,
Doesn't
Ryan.
happen to repair us
When
up.
this
I
game
go after him directly.
When this game finally comes out in
Don't
retail,
play
I will
test
have the
with
pleasure of
Ryan.
being the very first person ever eliminated from that game.
Awesome. Name in the credits.
Right.
What about you
Extinct
guys?
from Civilization.
Well, I mean, for both of us, it was our first Gen Con.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
our
Oh, I didn't
first
realize
experience.
that.
Yeah, we'd never been before. I've only been to 2 other cons, and it was CMON Expo and Origin. So it was a bit of a shock, but we had a lot of fun. We were really glad we went. We got to meet a ton of people, see all those new games that are coming out, previews a lot of things.
Well, for me, the most awesome part of the whole experience was just meeting our friends.
Yeah.
We met a lot of people that are in our Board Game Spotlight group, a lot of people that we are actually friends with, and it was just an awesome experience to be able to finally meet them face to face. In fact, I think one of the highlights was meeting Chris Strain, who's been a co-designer on a game of mine for almost 3 years now, and I've never met him. And it was awesome to be able to finally get a chance to sit down, play our game, and get a chance to
Plug
do that.
the game.
The game is called Fate of the West. It's a dice worker. It's a dice worker placement game set in the late 1800s. So it is currently in development, but you should see it soon on Kickstarter, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Cool. I'm going to put you guys on the spot. I want one answer. I don't want any explanation.
Uh-oh.
boy.
If there is one game that you have not played yet from Gen Con that you want to play, name that game. I'll start. The Rise of Queensdale. I haven't touched it yet. I'm excited to try it.
You're going to me?
Yeah.
Go to them first.
All right, you go first.
Scythe, Rise of Fenris.
Ooh,
Oh,
good
good pick.
choice.
Good
Especially
Good
because
choice.
Scythe is in my top 5 of all time.
Good
so
choice.
I definitely want to play through the campaign.
Who's next? Someone pick.
Well, this is easy for me. It's Newton. Because I missed every single time you guys got together to play Newton. I was out. I had to go do something. So, no, I haven't played it yet.
Definitely Victoria Masterminds. It's been on my list for about
Oh,
a year
yeah, you
now,
haven't played
so
that
I haven't got
either,
to play it yet. Yep.
You'll have to play
Lizzy,
that.
anything?
It's an expansion, but the Clank in Space expansion that
Oh,
they
I
came
didn't
out
get
with.
that.
Clank in
Yeah.
Space
I
I didn't
Apocalypse.
get that. I forgot about
So
that.
we
Clank
need
in
to grab
Space
that.
Apocalypse, that's my answer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would say Newton as well.
You didn't play it?
You
I
can't
haven't
have the
played
same
Newton
answer.
yet. I know. That's why I'm going to say Villainous, because I haven't played Villainous, and it
Yes.
sounds like you guys all love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
wanted to get a copy of it anyway, so I'm looking forward to playing
Target.
Villainous.
We'll head to Target
right.
right after
I think
And
it's
this.
on
Walmart,
for
apparently.
sure.
Yeah,
Cool.
I think it might be Walmart too.
So that is it for Chit Chat episode 23. Thanks again for watching. Definitely like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
And
all
check
that.
out Board Game Spotlight with
Yeah.
Lizzy and Derek.
Yeah, we'll give his shameless plug and her shameless plug for them. But check us out next time, and we'll see you then. Well, that's another episode of Chit Chat in the Bag. Thanks for watching. If you want to check out another one, there's probably one right over here in the bottom left-hand corner, or probably your right-hand corner. whatever corner, we have something to click on. So click on one of these things and good things will happen.